Hello. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a great weekend. This is Sunday morning. What is it? March 16th, 10 o'clock in the morning. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a quick recap on, unfortunately, what's been a really bad tornado outbreak over the last couple of days across the heartland. And then we'll talk about the threat shifting east. I'll focus in on South Florida, the snowbirds down here, the Mid Atlantic, Philadelphia. In particular, there's going to be an area around Pittsburgh that could see some really good storms today, too. Probably wind damage and straight line winds. Um, it's just been a very violent couple days, and unfortunately, up to this point, I've read, I think it's something like 10 fatalities. I think it was Bakersfield in California in Missouri. I'm going to show you it in just a second here. I think there were like there was at least I think it was 10 total. I think there were 3 or 4 in that event alone, and I know there's a couple EF3s that have touched down. I'll tell you what, let's, as you can see here, it's nice and quiet. This is South Florida. We're in Stewart, and, it's another great day here. We're gonna have a thunderstorm threat too. It's gonna be late today, overnight tonight. It's just spotty, though. It's nothing even close, to what they're dealing with out there. But we could see a couple of thunderstorms too. And the sun's come out. I've got an incredible sun glare now, so I can't see what I'm doing. Let me, I'll share my screen as soon as I can see. Oh my gosh, I might have to move. This is too funny. I can't see my cursor. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Sun needs to go back into the clouds. There it is, right there. Okay, where's the share screen? Okay, there we go. Wait, what just happened there? Hold on. Oh, that's the share screen. Okay, there we go. All right, hopefully you guys can see that. Are we There we go. Okay. Oh my gosh, I can't see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to move here. I can't see anything. Ah, tell you what, I'll go inside. It's a bright sunny day in South Florida. There's a shocker. It's like this every day. Okay, this is much, much better. Now I'm inside. Okay, so all right, so as you can see here, the big focus on Friday, and a lot of this was actually more like Friday evening, Friday night. And the problem, we all know this with nighttime storms, is you can't see anything. Tornado warnings went off, the tornado sirens went off, but some of these people, you can't see anything. It's not like, for example, if you're watching me right now in the Philadelphia area, if you're watching me in an area that's highly populated, you have city lights, there's neighborhoods. I think it's Gloucester County alone in South Jersey has over 500,000 people or close to it. You get out here, and I know this firsthand because I used to live out here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. You get out there, and you might have neighborhoods, you might have towns that have only one stoplight, or they don't even have a stoplight because nobody's there. So it's really, really dark out there. There's no street lights, no nothing. And that's what happens. It gets really, really scary at night because you can't see anything. And some of these tornadoes, actually, there were 37 that touched down Friday. Some of them were right smack dab in the middle of the night where people are just relying on their cell phones and their NOAA weather radios. Once they go off, and then they're like, okay, they got to run to their shelters and everything. But anyway, it was a scary situation. So on Friday, there were 800. If you look towards the lower left here, where you see the reports, the tornado reports, there were 37. There were 873 total reports. That includes large hail reports, wind damage reports, and tornado reports. 37 tornado reports on Friday. Unfortunately, again, we had 10 fatalities. And look towards the bottom of your screen. You see the one here where it says 10 fatal. I'm sorry, 3 fatal, 1 injured. That was the EF3, and it was Bakersfield. It was Bakersfield, Missouri. I know there's a California too, but it's Bakersfield, Missouri, where that one hit. And let me scroll down. It was damage after damage after damage. I mean, look at it all. So that was the EF3. Right now, they were estimating they had winds of 140 miles per hour. Here's another one, an EF1, another EF1. There's an EF2, 1 injured. One injured, a tornado developed at 8:56. See, these are all at night. Reports of extensive damage from spotters, confirmed tornadoes. Here's another EF1, winds of 90 to 100. We've got more EF1s down here. So I guess in if you look back to this, um, I guess the good news is that most of this stuff was the EF1s, but the EF2s, the EF3s, especially the EF3s. Now you're getting really, really bad. All right, here's a look at yesterday. Now, yesterday was expected to be the worst of the 2 days, and fortunately, it wasn't because once Friday came and went, I remember the mindset of all the forecasters because I'm in tune with a lot of the storm chasers and the reporters and all of that out there, and the mindset was after Friday, because Saturday was always supposed to be the worst day. The mindset was, "Holy smokes, look what just happened Friday. What the heck is Saturday going to be like?" Thankfully, it wasn't as bad. We only had 133 total storm reports, 18 hail, 81 wind, and 34 tornado reports. For whatever reason, because I will say this, the setup was actually even worse Saturday than it was Friday. Yet for whatever reason, Friday turned out to be the worst of the 2 days. Here's a quick look at Friday again. There we go all the way to the top. There it is right there. You can see again how bad Friday was. Okay. For Saturday. Last couple of days have just been an absolute nightmare. Okay, moving forward, the severe threat is going to shift east today. It's going to be the East Coast from let's call it Pittsburgh and Bradford and Northwest PA south, all the way to northern Florida. And there's some really populated areas involved here. You see right there. Here's a look at the cities. Let me take the population off. So there's a lot of big cities that are involved in this threat today. You've got Cleveland, you've got Pittsburgh, you've got Richmond, you've got Roanoke, Raleigh, Charlotte, Columbia, Charleston, Savannah, Wilmington, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Gainesville, Orlando. Looks like the northern part of Orlando, Tampa. All right, so there's a big population that's going to have to stay weather aware today. Now the big concern today. Here's your tornado concern. It's elevated in that area that you see brown. Okay. But really, the biggest concern here is going to be the strong straight line winds. And I was just looking at the future, what the radar may look like, the future cast. I'm going to show you it in a second. And it does show a couple pretty nasty squall lines developing out there. There's a look at the hail threat there could be hail's not really a big concern with this. The biggest concern is going to be wind and then tornado. But again, wind would be the biggest threat. So here's a look at one of the tornado watch boxes that it's already up. Now they're lined up from the North Carolina, Virginia border all the way down to northern Florida. This is just the first one. And you can kind of see this it's almost like it's not even a squall line, but there is kind of a line here. The big line hasn't developed just yet. It is early in the day. It's only 10:19. But let me go back here so you get a better understanding. See, there's a few of them here. So the one in northern Florida, okay, that one, there's a couple big cells off to the west that are going to be sweeping through Gainesville and Jacksonville. And then there's another one here. Oh, good. All right, that one has expired. Okay, that was in Georgia and western portions of South Carolina. So that one has expired. So really all we have is this one right now. Let's see what they're saying actually too. All right, you can see the threats up here. Tornadoes, it's a moderate threat. Severe wind is a moderate threat. And the tornado watches for southeast Georgia, southern North Carolina, central and eastern South Carolina, and the coastal waters. Primary threats include a couple of tornadoes, scattered wind gusts up to 70 miles. Man, that's a big wind. To 70 miles per hour, isolated large hail. A broken band of thunderstorms will continue east into the watch area this morning within a weakly unstable air mass and very strong flow aloft. Greater risk for wind damage, along with a threat for a couple of tornadoes. So the good news here is, we were just talking about this, is dynamically, this does not look like the same system that punched through the heartland of the nation and brought all that terrible weather. Okay. That being said, there's still the chance of tornadoes. There's still the chance, you just saw it. There's still the chance of a couple of gusts over 70 miles per hour. So, you can't let your guard down. But again, the threat is not nearly as bad as it's been over the last couple of days. Okay, so let's focus in on the Philadelphia area, and then we'll focus in on the West Palm Beach area, and then you guys will have yourself a great Sunday. I think we're going to go to the water park today. The weather is just fabulous. It is, well, let's see. It is, I think the high today is supposed to be 85, and it's humid. So the heat index is going to be between like maybe 87 and 88, and it's sunny. So, we're gonna have a good time going to the water park because it's open. Okay, this is let's start actually here real quick. I brushed right through this. Let me just show you're looking at. This is what's called the significant tornado parameter. The significant tornado parameter takes in a bunch of different variables like wind shear, instability, and it plots it all on the same graphic like what you see in front of you. The higher these numbers, or in other words, the darker the colors here, the greater the threat will be in that particular area for tornadoes. Now, these numbers were literally off the charts yesterday and Friday. And now if I scroll down, they are on, you can see below here, they are on the lower side of the scale. Okay. You see that 10, if you look towards the far right, they were way off the charts yesterday. They were way beyond that and Friday. And again, today they're more like twos, threes, fours, which is still elevated, but it's not as bad. And you can see that there's going to be this threat here. This is 10 o'clock in the morning. You can see how the threat is right there in southeastern Georgia and right there across northern Florida, Jacksonville, Pagey, Jacksonville, Gainesville, Tallahassee. But see how it all kind of, you see that? Let's go through, you know what? Let's go through, see if we have a Carolinas. There should be a North Carolina. We can follow along. Well, let's do the Mid-Atlantic. Okay. So we'll get up into the Philadelphia area. And again, what you don't want to see is yellows. And that right there, that's not good. Okay, so that's why, remember, the heightened areas for northwest Pennsylvania today. There it is. Okay, you got a lot of shear. But fortunately, notice how as this thing approaches the Philadelphia area, you still got some high numbers through Harrisburg. Okay, it's elevated, tornado threat. But notice what happens. Okay, it all winds down. You've got a more stable air mass over the Philadelphia area today. Now, it's going to be windy regardless, but notice again, the significant tornado parameter kind of disappears, which is good. Okay, so let's go over to this one here. Now let's set these in motion for you. So here comes the first round. And I haven't looked at enough of the exact forecast in the Philadelphia area to say this with 100% certainty, but what it appears to me is if you're going to get these showers ahead of this main line, you see the line out there west towards Pittsburgh, the showers might end up stabilizing the atmosphere a little bit here. So that little band there might end up being the sole reason why that nasty looking line weakens before it moves into the Philadelphia area. Let's hope that's the fact. You see it? So again, that's good. But this is going to be a windy day anyway because of pressure differences between a strengthening low through the Great Lakes and high pressure coming in from the west. So it's going to be windy. But look at all this heavy rain. It's all heavy rain. And again, there could be, now the National Weather Service issues a lot of warnings. I don't want to say they have an itchy trigger finger because it's better to err on the side of caution than anything. But it wouldn't surprise me if there are a couple warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings issued with this. You can kind of see what appears to be Boeing segments. See that there? But I think in large part, this is going to be a windy day in the Philadelphia area and heavy rain. I mean, look at all this coming through. Look at this, which is good too, because remember, you're in a drought up there. Let's see I'll tell you what, let's break it down and show you the total precip. And where is it? Precip. It's a lot of rain. Good. You need it. Let's go back to this one here. It's a lot of rain. All right. So when all is said and done, it's looking like, well, this particular model has 1 to 2 east of Philadelphia and more like 1 to 1.5 west of Philadelphia. That's a good soaking rain. You guys desperately need that. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let me show you the wind gusts too before I forget. Okay, so here's a look. Now, what you're seeing here, okay, this is regardless of what happens with any kind of severe weather. This is just what we call synoptic winds. Okay, these are wind speeds again that develop because of the pressure differences that I was just talking about, a high and low pressure, with the strengthening low in the Great Lakes, high moving in from the west. So even if you didn't see a single shower or thunderstorm today, it's going to be a windy day. Okay, so let's put that in motion for you. Here's a look at the gusts. That's 11 o'clock in the morning. There's midday. And there could be some gusts. I mean, the modeling is hinting towards a few 50-mile-an-hour gusts, especially right there on the coast. That may be a little overdone. It may not. But I think most areas are going to be maybe 35 to 45, in that range with isolated stronger gusts. You can see here, now we're getting late in the day. The modeling showing, again, maybe a 48, 49, 50-mile-an-hour gusts. That could also be taking into account some thunderstorms here, but it's going to be a windy day. Okay, and then it's gone. And then as we get into Monday, Monday's breezy too, but not nearly as windy. Monday is more like a 15 to 25 or 15 to 30 mile per hour gust type day. And then Tuesday, this will pull away. Okay, let's see what's going on here in South. All right, so down to South Florida we go. I know there's a lot of snowbirds here, which, by the way, it's important for me to get this information out. We've had, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because the wave action comes in at an angle when the winds come out of the southeast. I'm not a complete expert down here yet. I've only been down here for, maybe 5 months, but rip currents. Rip currents are nasty down here this time of year. We haven't had any fatalities recently, which is good, but it's almost every day we have a high risk of rips. And today's going to be no different. You're going to get a lot of wind coming in right there off the shoreline. It's a southeast wind, and there's a dangerous rip current threat. So if you're going to be out on the beach today, which, by the way, is going to be great beach weather, but if you go into the water, a couple things. One, if it were me, I would probably only go in waist deep, and that's it. Two, it would only be on a guarded beach, and that's it. Me personally, I don't take chances like that. And if it's a high risk of rip currents, you've got good, 3, 4, and in some cases 5 or even 6 foot waves breaking. I would just err on the side of caution and make sure you're only going swimming on a guarded beach. There could be an isolated thunderstorm in the West Palm Beach area. Look at the broken line approaching from the northwest. It's going to move through Disney World today. It's going to move through the Tampa St. Pete area today, Gainesville, Tallahassee. That's where there could be some severe weather. But we're kind of lucking out here in South Florida because this line of storms will be coming through overnight when you're losing the peak heating of the day. You're losing the instability because the sun is going down. But again, the modeling does show a couple of thunderstorms here. This is 2 o'clock in the morning, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 o'clock in the morning, 7. It's gone. So if you're someone that doesn't wake up until like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, this thing is gone and you just slept through the whole thing. So it's just going to be a couple of isolated thunderstorms today, and then you will get this broken line coming through overnight when you're probably sound asleep. Also with the winds, okay, it will also be a breezy day. Notice right on the coast, that's where our winds are. And that green is at least 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts. Okay, so this is moving through like that. Okay. And then it's going to be breezy again tomorrow. And looks like a little bit Tuesday morning too. But the breeze is incredible because the breeze helps you out. And there we go. Because the breeze helps you out because it's muggy down here right now. And once the front comes through, it'll feel a lot better. But that's it. So again, just to kind of recap here, the severe threat is going to hit the East Coast today. It's not going to be nearly as bad. It shouldn't be nearly as bad as what they saw yesterday and the day before across the heartland and the deep south, which is good. With that being said, Pittsburgh area, north up into Erie, could be some really good winds today and maybe some tornadoes. For the Philadelphia area, it looks like heavy rain. It's going to be a windy day, 35 to 45. Higher gusts are possible up to 50. And there could be some thunderstorms. All right. Severe threat is on the lower side, but you can never completely rule that out. And then south here in the West Palm Beach area, same thing. There could be an isolated thunderstorm today. Otherwise, it's warm and muggy with temperatures in the mid 80s, heat index probably upper 80s. Watch the rip currents. Other than that, everything's settling down. And then the start of next week looks a lot better. You guys take care. Okay. Bye bye.